When customers come into the Bell branch, I would like them to know that it's not just a place they can do their banking. They can come laugh with us, cry with us, pray with us. We want to be their friend, not just their bankers. My name is Courtney Frazier, and I'm the Bell branch manager. Happy Banking is different because our level of customer service that we offer to our customers and the personal relationships that we develop with our customers.
Good evening. I would like to welcome Pastor Bert Palmer with Post Street United Methodist Church. Reverend, would you say our invocation?
Certainly will. To lighten the evening, I'll be reading this from my iPhone. Oh God, we give thanks for faithful service of all these commissioners. Grant them wisdom to serve the good for the whole community. Give grace to all who understand these decisions which are made today and are being determined for our future, that they really will shape our future. I'm not sure the founding mothers and fathers anticipated things like use of cell phones and vehicles, seat belts, or school zone laws. But let the prevailing beliefs that held in tension the concept of freedom and justice for all by our founding mothers and fathers be honored this day by this group. Forgive us for taking for granted the freedom in which we live, and help us to live as a people free to express our faith in the messages of this season that give life to all. For it is in your holy name we pray. Amen.
Thank you. Would you join me for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please be seated.
Pastor, before you leave, really privileged here. The service who was a leader in our community. Very well done.
Thank you. Would all of us live that way, all our fields would look the same. Thank you.
That's why I dread mine.
Thanks, Pastor.
Thank you.
Commissioner Sims are irrepressible. Good evening and welcome to the regularly scheduled meeting of the Amarillo City Commission held on the third floor of City Hall this Tuesday at 5:30 p.m. First item of business on today's agenda is the minutes. Minutes are regarding the meeting from November 27th. Do you have any additions or corrections to the minutes from November 27th? Not entertain a motion.
Mayor, I would move for approval of the minutes as presented.
I second that motion.
Motion and a second for the minutes. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That passes with a 5-0 vote. Ordinance number 7380. This is first reading an ordinance amending section 2426 of the Amarillo Municipal Code regarding the use of modern technology for official records, storage, and access. This change provides for the ability to create, keep, and maintain official city records through electronic and other means. Are there any questions about this item from anyone in the audience or from the Commission? I'll entertain a motion.
Mayor, I move that we adopt ordinance number 7380 and further to ratify all prior use of electronic record storage methods used by the City Secretary from 1985 to date.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That passes with a 5-0 vote. Ordinance number 7381. This is the first review of an ordinance changing the zoning of an 11.92 acre tract of land in Section 63, Block 9, BS&F Survey, Laredo County, in the vicinity of Southwest 45th Avenue and Sonsi Road, from Agricultural District to Plan Development 320, to an amended plan development for expansion of existing auto sales operations. This is recommended for approval by a 6-0, one abstention vote of the Planning and Zoning Commission. Are there any questions from the audience about this item or from the Commission? Not entertain a motion.
Mayor, I move we approve ordinance number 7381.
I second.
A motion and a second for 7381. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That passes with a 5-0 vote. Ordinance number 7382. This is the first reading of an ordinance vacating the 20-foot alley of Block 338 Holland Edition and a portion of Southwest 2nd Avenue north of Block 338 Holland Edition in Section 156, Block 2, ABNM Survey, Potter County, in the vicinity of Southeast 2nd Avenue and South Arthur Street. It's recommended for approval by a 7-0 vote of the Planning and Zoning Commission. Is there any questions about these items from anyone in the audience? Or anyone on the commission? If not, I'd entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we approve ordinance number 7382.
I'll second.
Motion and a second for ordinance number 7382. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That passes with a 5-0 vote. Ordinance number 7383. This is the first reading of an ordinance amending Section 1245 of the Amarillo Municipal Code regarding certain golf fees. The proposed amendment will align the days for senior permit holder playing days with the green fee day playing days. It will reduce permit costs for senior permit holders and additionally senior family members. This proposed amendment also addresses the amount of the golf capital improvement fee for the Ross Wild Horse and Ross East renovated course for permit players only. I wondered if we can get an explanation of this, Mr. City Manager. Is there?
Certainly, Mayor, be glad to do that. We do have Mr. Rod Sweet with our Parks Department back there. I asked him to go ahead and start forward. We've also got Sherwin Cox and George Fiolo, two golf pros. What this item does is today a senior permit holder is entitled to play Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. The proposal would take Friday off of that, but at the same time would reduce the cost of that fee, or cost of that permit. So that's proposal number one that's contained in here.
That is correct.
Related to that, the permit holders are allowed to buy or to add a person to those permits. That's that additional family member that's referenced in there. This would reduce that price because today that price is actually higher than what the new permit would be, which is $570 for senior permit holders. Finally, it changes golf course improvement fee charged to the permit players on the Ross Wild Horse and the Ross East course, up by $1 on Wild Horse and up $2 on the East course. Ross?
That is correct. That is correct. With that senior permit fee, and just to expand on what Mr. City Manager had said, that it does create that additional member fee at $525. In the past, we have not had that. We had the additional family member fee for the annual pass and the senior permit when it was the original $640. Now that we've taken off the Friday, we've reduced the cost of that senior fee. We add an additional senior permit for the $525. That's correct.
For clarification, that additional family member is of the immediate family, and they don't necessarily have to be a senior.
No, sir. They just follow the rules of the initial permit paid for, whether that be a senior or an annual permit. That is correct.
Okay. If you stand by, then I wonder if there's any questions from the audience about this item. Are there any questions from the commission about this item? Okay, thank you very much. If not, I entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I would move for approval of ordinance number 7383. And comment, this is still a great bargain for our community. Be they seniors, or be they people that just do the regular type of permit. I move for approval of 7383.
I second that motion.
We have a motion and a second for 7383. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That passes with a 5-0 vote. Ordinance number 7371 is the second final reading of ordinance annexing 16.35 acre tract of land in section 62, block 9 BSMF survey, Randall County. Is there any need to discuss this with anyone in the audience or with the commissioner? Not entertain a motion.
I move approval of ordinance number 7371.
Second. All those in favor of ordinance 7371 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That passes with a 5-0 vote. This This is a resolution calling for a public hearing to determine whether certain conditions described herein constitute public nuisance at the location stated. This location sets the date and time for public hearing to be determined if two properties constitute a public nuisance and thereby declared as a dangerous structure. A copy of the resolution will be mailed to the interested parties, providing a 10-day notice for public hearing. And there was an amendment to the hearing date. That amended date was the 8th. Is that correct? The 8th. And so if you picked up a packet outside that's been amended, correct date would be the 8th. Is there any discussion about this hearing from the public audience? Any from the commission? That would be the 8th of January. 8th of January. 8th of January 2013 is when this would take place. Okay. If not, I'd entertain a motion.
Mayor, I would move that we establish January 8th as the date for public hearing to determine if the structure is constitute public nuisance.
I second.
A motion and a second for resolution number 7 on the agenda. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That passes with a 5-0 vote. Resolution Southwest Public Service Company rate filing. This resolution suspends the effective date of the rate increase filing from Southwest Public Service Company for a period of 90 days until at least March 20th, 2013. The action allows the City of Amarillo and other affected entities time to evaluate, negotiate, and deny the request increase. This resolution further authorizes the hiring of necessary attorneys, consultants, and other experts to assist the city in its efforts. Is there any question from the public in regard to this? Anyone in the audience? Anyone on the commission? If not, I entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we approve the resolution for Southwest Public Service Company rate filing.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for resolution number 8 on the agenda. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That passes with a 5-0 vote. Appointments of boards and commissions. Appointment committees of the following boards: the airport board. Do we have any nominations for the airport board?
Mr. Mayor, I would nominate Dr. Jack Waller to replace Dr. Tom Nichols, who turned out for the airport board.
Okay, so Dr. Jack Waller. Any questions from the audience about this appointment? From the commission? Okay. We have, second. Pardon me. We have a motion and a second for appointments as listed. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That passes with a 5-0 vote. Consent agenda. It is recommended the following items be approved: that the city manager be authorized to execute all documents necessary for each transaction. A is Medicare provider authorization, Department of Public Health. And B is the award of the Amarillo Athletic Complex Phase 2 project. Are there any items that need to be removed for separate consideration by the commission? If not, is there any discussion needed about these items?
Mayor, I would think that we would provide more information to citizens on what item B involves. I think that's very important.
It's really interesting, so let's do that. Do we have those available to put up on the screen, those pictures, do you think? They're in the packet.
They're in the packet. Mayor, if we would, I would ask Mr. Tweet to start. We may still have the board that has that master plan on it. We'll check for that if you'd like Mr. Tweet to start.
Great.
Mr. Mayor, I appreciate the opportunity. This is an exciting project for the Parks and Recreation Department. This is really the next phase of the Amarillo Athletic Complex, which is an extension, I guess, of the Rick Klein baseball complex that we're all familiar with and well used out there. This next phase will allow us to construct 4 multi-use irrigated fields there, 200 additional parking, transition zone from parking lot to our fields with a restroom to accommodate the play on these fields. This project location will be located, the parking will be expanded or extension of the existing baseball parking. transition area there just to the south of the parking, and the fields will be located just south of that, running parallel to Grand on the south side of the Rickline Baseball Complex. From a programming perspective, these will be fairly large fields, 80 yards by 130 yards. That allows us to play the largest field size for soccer, but also allows us to paint on football fields, which we are very much lacking here in Amarillo as well. So this gives us that second step as it relates to the development of this area. What you see here is a conceptual master plan. This is a master plan that's gone back to the drawing board about 2 or 3 times, and will continue to be worked on. This, from a conceptual perspective, shows the current projects. Excuse me. But you'll see the existing Rickline Baseball Complex. You'll see existing parking, and then immediately to the south, you'll see that black area, which is the expansion of 200-car parking lot. And it will be identical to what you see there. This is not to scale, so it doesn't look identical, but it is. You'll see a transition zone just to the south of that parking, and then you see the location of the 4 fields that we will go under construction with. So we're excited about the project. We hope the project to be complete in August of 2013. We will hydro-mulch these fields and get them ready for play in 2014. But it's a great addition to the current location to that complex, and as you can see, we have plenty of acres, about 425 additional acres out there to develop as we go along, that could make one of the finest complexes here in the Panhandle.
And you say those are large enough fields you can split the soccer fields into many children's fields.
That is correct. What you see here is just regulation soccer fields, which would be played on most by adults, or even international play if we wanted to pursue tournaments. However, if you look at the age groups of the soccer play here in Amarillo, traditionally you have a lot of the younger kids which don't play on the traditional larger size fields. They will play on the 20 by 30s or the 40 by 25. So as you can see, it appears to be 4 fields, but you could create as many as 12 to 16 different size fields. And what this will do is allow us to program, take some congestion and traffic flow off of John Stiff, which they currently play, and potentially take play out of our neighborhood parks between here and John Stiff Park. So this really gives us real flexibility in our athletic programming.
We also get a view of what could come in the future. This all fits in within the comprehensive plan that was studied by all the citizens, right, Mr. C?
Absolutely, Mayor, this does. And in fact, the proposed items that are put up there on that concept plan, should they come to pass at some point in the future, that begins to make a substantial progress towards the identified needs that you have both in the comprehensive plan and the recently approved park master plan.
And these aren't needs for future growth. These are actually needs that are there with our current population, aren't they? That are unmet because we just can't afford to do them.
They're current deficiencies. This will go a long way with soccer that we're proposing today. And then probably your next largest deficiency would be in the ball fields, of all types.
That's correct.
Thank you very much.
Thank you all. Appreciate the support.
Thank you very much. Mayor, I move approval of the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Motion and a second for the consent agenda as presented. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That passes with a 5-0 vote. We now have a presentation of the public education campaign, the One Tax, One Call, Could Record All regarding handheld cell phones used while driving. We'd ask Ms. Sonia Gross to come forward and give us that presentation.
Mayor, Commissioners, thank you, and the public. Appreciate the opportunity to provide this information to everyone today. And it has changed a little bit since last week, so I think we should all pay attention here. The City of Amarillo has joined the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration's One Texter Call Could Wreck It All campaign and has pledged its support to help spread the message that distracted drivers are not only a danger to themselves, but to everyone on the road. The National Distracted Driving effort focuses on ways to change the behavior of drivers through legislation, enforcement, public awareness, and education the same activities that have curbed drunk driving and increased seatbelt use. The City Commission earlier this year felt so strongly about this that an ordinance banning the use of handheld cell phones while driving was adopted. This was a discussion that started in January of this year, and there were 2 public hearings before the Traffic Commission, and following that, another 2 public hearings before the City Commission. Since the ordinance was approved, there have been a few questions, particularly about when the ordinance goes into effect. Of course, that has all been dependent upon whether or not the warning signs have been installed throughout the city. And the traffic engineer did indeed certify with the city secretary this morning, just before noon, I understand, that those signs that you can see up there on the monitor right now are indeed installed. And based on that certification, the ordinance will officially go into effect one day later than what I was saying last week, so not too much of a difference, but go into effect officially January 3rd, 2013. At that time, enforcement will begin with a 30-day grace period. During that time, police will issue warnings, written or verbal, and that will be at the officer's discretion. Citations will be written starting February 2nd. So what does this mean for Amarillo motorists? It means that starting January 3rd, 2013, it will be against the law to use a handheld cell phone while driving in the city of Amarillo. It also means that starting February 3rd, if you violate this ordinance, you could face a fine of up to $200 plus court cost. The emphasis here is on handheld cell phones while driving. Drivers may still use a speakerphone feature, a voice-activated feature or device, a hands-free accessory device like Bluetooth, and a driver may also press the buttons necessary to use, activate, or end these features or devices. I even got an email this morning from someone who was asking whether or not they could use their iPhone's headset. And I said, so long as you're not touching the phone, you're good to go. So when can motorists use a handheld cell phone in the city of Amarillo? A little bit of humor up on the screen there if you want to take a second to catch that. That kind of explains me up until probably January 3rd, hopefully sooner. But we can get myself under control there. But to answer that question, if your car is lawfully parked, you may use your handheld cell phone. This does not mean while stopping traffic at a red light or a stop sign, as that slide alludes to. Are there exceptions to this rule? And of course there are. A driver may use a handheld cell phone while driving to call for fire, police, or ambulance in case of a bona fide emergency. That means there must be imminent danger to life or safety. You may also call a doctor, a hospital, or a clinic if necessary. Licensed amateur radio operators are exempted by federal law. And finally, Jared, I don't know if you've seen this, but you've graced one of our slides. A government employee, first responder, a volunteer, it's been nice working here, and may also use a handheld cell phone while driving, but only while acting in official capacity with immediate need to give or receive the necessary official information. City Manager Jared Atkinson has made it very clear to city employees that this ordinance applies to them as well. That means that when I'm running behind from work and I'm going down the road, I can't pick up my phone and call or text my husband to let him know I'm running behind. Unless, of course, I've got a Bluetooth on. I can use that. But the problem is I can never find mine, and when I do, using it's a whole nother ballgame. So best for me to wait, get in my car, make the phone call, then pull out of the parking lot. And if you do know how to use your hands-free device, I recommend that. And please, someone teach me. The best practice, of course, is to find a safe place to pull over to make or take a call or text, or again, use that hands-free device. Last week, we put a fact sheet containing this information and more on our website at amarillo.gov. And I do have some copies of that available as takeaways for anyone who may want one on their way out today. When you go to our website, amarillo.gov, click on the One Text or Call Good Wreck It All banner, which you see at the top of this slide here, and you'll be able to learn more. In the meantime, employers can adopt a company-wide policy encouraging employees to not use a handheld cell phone while driving. Sample policies, memos, and more are available at distraction.gov. Distraction.gov is also a great resource for parents wanting to help their children understand the importance of not using a handheld cell phone while driving. There's even a parent-teen driving contract that you can download. Educators have access to downloads that include presentations, sample morning school announcements, flyers, and even a sample letter from school officials to parents. Plus, I'd like to personally thank Tracy Tellman with the Texas Department of Transportation. She has proven to be an invaluable resource as we work to get the word out that one text or call could wreck it all. TxDOT, and I didn't realize this until earlier this week, TxDOT offers free distracted driving programs for teens and adults at no charge. All you have to do is ask. Everyone's welcome to call me, and I'll point them to Tracy. She even provided me with some takeaways for today's presentation, and anyone who would like a bracelet or a calendar can see me afterwards, and I'll be happy to provide those to you. Since announcing the fact sheet on Amarillo.gov last week, I've personally received a few questions, but mostly positive feedback. One of Amarillo's major employers has already committed to share our One Text or Call Could Wreck It All campaign message with their employees through their newsletters, their e-blasts, and other avenues. We've also booked speaking engagements, haven't we, Lily? And we look forward to more of those opportunities being extended to us. But most importantly, if anyone has any questions or would like to learn more about how they can help get the word out with our One Text or Call Could Wreck It All campaign, please contact me, Sonia Gross, Community Relations. The number's on the screen there. You call the main number to the city and just ask for Community Relations. I'm sure they can find me, and I'll be happy to help you. And even though the ordinance doesn't go into effect until January 3rd, with citations being issued starting on February 2nd, I encourage everyone, and as I indicated earlier, myself included, to start practicing putting the phone down, because one text or call could wreck it all. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions by the Commission? Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
That concludes the agenda for today's meeting at the Amarillo City Commission. It's our customary at this time to allow citizens of this community with matters not on the agenda pertaining to city policy, programs, and services to speak to the Commission. And the floor is now open for those comments. If anyone would like to come forward and make a comment, please. And as anyone comes up while you're coming up, we have a 3-minute limit on the comments, and you can start by giving your name and your address. Thank you.
Trina Fournier, 4427 South Haiti. Wish to applaud this commission on new security measures, namely the barrier and the presence of the standing officers. It is no doubt a comfort to the people of Amarillo to know the Commission is taking proactive steps to ensure the safety of the Commission and staff. We all know that it is important to have order and to let people know that no disturbance or dissension from the citizenry will be tolerated by those in authority. There have been so many incidents that have needed stricter measures of control during City Council meetings. Amarillo is just a hotbed of riotous activity, and it is good to know that the Commission takes these threats seriously. Is working to keep order. After all, we cannot have the rabble thinking they are equals of the ruling class. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else would like to make a comment? Good evening. Welcome.
James 4216. Just trying to clarify.
Sir, would you mind? I didn't hear your name and address. I don't know.
James Skank.
Thank you.
4216, 4217. I just need to clarify this not touching your phone to initiate a call. She obviously doesn't know how Bluetooth works, and you do have to touch your phone.
You can touch your phone, sir, to activate a call. That's allowed.
And that right there is I mean, if I'm sitting there doing this, and I'm doing that right there to make a phone call to call the mayor, I have to go boom, 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 and then I have to click on that. If I'm seen doing that by an officer, then I'm likely to be pulled over.
Well, I don't know that you're likely to be pulled over. I'm sorry, were you?
That's the question. I mean, we talked about it last time.
Sure.
And, you know, there are the people that have the voice activated, you know. So really the conflict that I have is I do have a Bluetooth, but it requires me to do this and touch my phone.
And that's allowed.
Okay. But if I'm doing this, driving by an officer, and he sees me doing it, how does he know whether I'm texting or not?
Well, if you tell him that, he would probably...
So now I'm going to be stopped.
Well, you could be. It depends on what you're doing.
I understand. But see, that's the
thing. If you're driving, as I understand it, what they will do is if you're driving around with a cell phone at your ear, they will stop you.
Right.
If you're at a green light, sitting still, looking down in your lap, they'll stop you. I think time will tell if they try and... If you're stopped at a green light and looking down, they'll stop you? And you're not moving. You're not moving. Wouldn't that indicate that if you're a fur policeman and trying to figure out what someone's doing, you're stopped and you don't move, I think then the courts will get to decide that.
Okay. You know, it's just a little bit of an odd circumstance there that people are going to be being pulled over for like initiating something or looking down while they're at a stoplight. I don't know, you know.
Today it's sort of like when they see you without your seatbelt, they give you a ticket for that. If
I
see you with
visible.
the phone to your ear. Sure.
See you with the phone to the ear, or what we're really trying to do is keep people from texting. And so for me to be calling you, I'm having to do this right here.
Sure.
And I'm doing that right there, and then I look at your number and then I click on it, and then I'm...
As with most rules, there are ways that you can raise a positive defense, and you do that in the court.
Are you allowed to prove that up to an officer?
I think our officers have proven to be very reasonable in the field.
I understand.
Talking to people, I don't think.
But that requires them to look at your phone. That's another questionable search.
Well, no, only if you suggested that or if you wanted to. But I don't think you're going to see our officers abusing their authority, trying to give citations.
So I've been talking to a lot of people and getting a lot of people signing the petition and things that are going on, and the involvement with. One young man said, well, as soon as an officer stopped me, I'm just going to quickly make a phone call. And then showing that I was making a phone call and wasn't texting. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Anyone else who would like to make a comment, please? How are you?
Good. Good evening. David Cossey from Canyon, Texas.
And your address there, sir?
It's 10140.
Thank you.
And actually, I kind of resemble the questions he asked, mainly because Canyon passed a texting ban, which really drew a lot of my interest to your decision to do the hands-free, the hands-held, the rest of it. The question, though, that I have, since I am from out of town, is they cited similar resources for their reason not to completely ban handheld devices while driving and just texting. The same thing with the one text could wreck it all. The same thing is that it started out one text could wreck it all. And then we added in the board call. And so the campaign itself is mainly directed at texting, which even the petition signers, I would say, have overwhelming support for texting ban. My question, though, was the education campaign started after the ordinance, not before. The citation campaign is going to start after the education campaign, which I do applaud. But my question is, why didn't you go in reverse? If it is about safety, why not educate the public on the concern first, and then see if a result happens, and then move toward an ordinance? That'd just be a question. The other thing is kind of something that's been going on that I've getting a lot of questions about since the petition's being very successful. The water drainage fee that was considered a fee and not a tax that was defined in the media. Obamacare was defined a fee also. The Supreme Court seconded that with saying that instead of a fee, it actually is a tax because you can't opt out of it. The same thing with the water drainage. You can't opt out of it if you're a property owner. So I just was wanting to call a spade a spade. If it's a tax, just call it a tax. It's not a big deal. It's still going to be implemented. The last thing, though, is Texas law already defines a gross negligence to be anything that somebody in a normal scenario would not also do. So if the average Amarillo citizen doesn't text and drive, and you get in a wreck while texting and driving, under this law, you've already done a gross negligence without regard for the ordinance. So my question is, why haven't they already been issuing those type of citations for past gross negligences? And then why the need for a new ordinance to address that as well? It's just as he said, a lot of it is the concern that I'm hearing from people on the petition is they have a concern for the unnecessary use of it, and then also the fear, as in El Paso, where there's actually a group suing the city for them using that to pull over minorities. He was on his phone. So that was just some questions that I had. Thanks.
Thank you. We'll try and address those in the future. Anyone else would like to make a comment? If not, then we stand adjourned. Thank you very much for your participation.